Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to the show, and you're listening to episode 149 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this show is being brought to you through the generous support of all of our wonderful Patreons. You too can help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench. and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month upwards. Your support greatly helps us with the production and hosting costs of the show, and as a small thank you, you'll get a On the Bench sticker as well. And hello and welcome to the show. G'day Ian, g'day Julian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day listeners.
Yes, good morning. It's very early in the morning.
Oh, it's only 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
It's not that early
yeah,
for a Sunday.
that's right.
Yeah.
I've already gone and done my grocery shopping and made all my lunches for this week's work.
Seriously already?
Yep.
Well, we're actually lucky we're recording because we've had some record rain and floods here in Victoria, and I've just come off a 4-day deployment, and I've got today and tomorrow before I head off again into northern Victoria. We'll be chasing floodwaters all around the state for the next, well into mid-November, I reckon. So it's a pretty busy time for us.
Not good.
And we've got more rain coming through next week, which is another big rain event, which is not going to help.
No.
All the catchments are
Full.
all the ground is fully sodden, so there ain't anywhere for it to
Yeah,
go.
I noticed that this week where I was at a job and I jumped out the truck onto someone's front lawn in Toorak and sunk on their front lawn, sunk to my ankles.
Yeah. Wow.
That's not fun.
No. Wet feet. That was in the morning, so I had wet feet for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's...
So Dave hasn't been building any models then?
No, I haven't, but...
We did last weekend.
Yeah, I got a huge amount of work done on my Hawk, my Space 1999 Hawk, and I am nearly finished, nearly ready to assemble it, and then I need to weather it, and it will be done. So I reckon I've probably got about another day and a half of work there, and I've got a lot of decals put on as well, but. Yeah, I'm really excited the way it's coming out. It's looking really good, and I just wish I could find the time to finish it off. But yeah, it's going to be a while, I think, before I get that opportunity.
Yep.
So it kind of sucks to be me. But in the meantime, last weekend we went to the Waverley Scale Modelling Club Interclub event,
Which is a great event.
and it's where 4 or 5 or 6 sort of local clubs get together.
Yep.
And you have to build a surprise kit in 3.5 hours.
4.5.
4.5 hours. And
Which it goes real quick.
it does. It does.
I was under the pump all day.
Yeah.
And you did all the heavy lifting.
He did a lot of heavy lifting, yeah.
Well, I did do the whole interior, and then I had to paint the whole thing.
So the rules of the competition, if there is rules, so the premise of the competition is you bring 2 kits that are armour kits, 2 kits that are miscellaneous, be it science fiction, fantasy,
Ships,
or whatever, 2 aircraft kits,
And 2 automotive.
and 2 automotive. And
That's from each club.
And the automotive kit, one of them is a pre-described one, which has got sent out to us.
Actually, no, that's an even separate one.
Oh, it's an even separate one. Sorry, yep.
Because what they do is they give, at the beginning, well, usually at Model Expo, they'll go around the clubs and they'll go, here's 2 kits. You'll get an aircraft kit and a car kit to build. And someone in the club has to build either one.
Yep.
So that's a separate part of the competition, and then the competition itself is each club has to bring, as Dave said, 2 car kits, 2 aircraft kits, 2 armour kits, and 2 miscellaneous.
Yep.
So, and we did all right, Julian. You won the car competition.
Yes, I did.
Dave won the miscellaneous with his
Atlas ICB.
Yep, and you done it with your little Mazda sports car.
Yep.
Which is that looks amazing.
Oh my God,
that is such a beautiful build.
That is a fantastic build,
and
it's really nice to get compliments on that car because I know there's so many problems with it.
Yeah, but look, I can't see where the problems are.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
look
it's
there.
hidden
I'm looking too closely.
And people used to write into us saying that we're not car builders. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and I got equal first in armour.
Yeah, that's right.
Which one was it that you had win? The
Of course, the Canadian machine gun carrier.
And on top of that, we won overall.
Yes, because we won the 4.5 hour build.
Yes.
Our club won that.
And the funny thing about it is, Ian and I were in the model shop about 12 months ago.
No, longer than that.
Longer than that.
2 years ago.
Yeah, and we saw, tucked away in the back,
A pile of kits.
that said Waverley Interclub.
Yeah. And we thought, oh, that's what we're going to be building this
Which
year.
was some Japanese aircraft.
Yeah. And then lo and behold, it's an Airfix 72nd scale Mark 5B Spitfire.
Yeah, yeah.
So something got changed in that.
Yeah, it did.
that'll they buy them several years in advance,
Maybe.
Maybe.
and they were sweating while you were mentioning it. Going,
Someone's heard it and gone, oh, hang on,
We'll
we're
have
going
to hang on
change
to
this.
those for a few years.
But it's a lot of fun because you get the kit, you don't know what it is. It's sitting on a table all wrapped up, and they say, ready, set, go, and you dive and you open it up. It is what it is. I think a couple of years ago it was a Bolt and Paul Defiant
Yes.
Airfix 72nd scale. And so you're going to bring a whole heap of paint, which you don't know what you're painting.
So with me, I just grabbed my guns box, which has got all the guns colours, just dump that on the
You
table.
bring all your tools. Julian usually brings airbrushes.
Because now you can get those little compressors that can fit in your hand.
Yep.
Yeah,
And an air dryer.
We haven't done airbrushes previously.
No.
But the previous time this event was held, someone had a compressor and an airbrush. And they were running it off of an inverter in the back of their 4-wheel drive.
That's right, yeah.
The
Yeah.
4x4.
And
And so I thought it's kind of been like an escalation. It started off with you can only take what you can fit in a shoebox,
Yes.
and then it became shoebox is out, just bring whatever you want.
Yeah.
Then it became spray cans, and then it became airbrushes, and now here we are with we took
Whatever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
give it a couple of years, someone will roll up and open the back of their panel van. It'll be like 3D printers and all sorts of just a whole modelling set up with all drawers and everything.
So you opened it up, and then you pretty much all got. It's a big round table, so all the guys sort of, so I'll start this, I'll start that, and so you got a whole heap of different people sort of working on different parts of the kit. And
Yeah, because
And,
time is of the essence.
yeah.
You can't afford to waste
no,
any time. One year we got the jump on them because I insisted on just gluing the fuselage of this helicopter we were doing with super glue. Everyone used the regular Tamiya extra thin type stuff and found that the plastic wouldn't glue together. Like it just would not take.
Yep.
And eventually they had to scrape it off and then super glue it. But by then, we were already well ahead,
So our club, Dan LCR Model Club, won this year again.
Yep. We got
which
a
is
little
really
trophy.
good. And the other clubs that were there were the boys from Pakenham.
No.
Oh,
Whittlesea,
Whittlesea Modelers,
I think it was. Yeah,
Waverley Scale Model Club,
Waverley.
us, and I'm sure
There was one more.
I'm sure they were the boys from Pakenham.
No, not
No.
Pakenham. It's not
Oh.
Pakenham because
Huh.
Pakenham don't join. They used to, but they don't anymore.
Huh.
It might be Easton.
Oh, it might have been Easton.
Yeah.
And the guys from Waverley Scale Model Club, they do a lunch there. So we had hamburgers.
And they were good burgers.
We had hamburgers.
They were
We had
good burgers.
sausages in bread or hot dogs.
Coffee and tea was
Coffee
put
and tea
on.
provided free. And it's just a really fun event.
Yeah,
It really is.
It is, yeah, because you just catch up. It's basically just to catch up and have a really
Yeah.
fun day.
Yeah. So, huge shout out to the boys from Waverley Scale Model Club.
Yep.
And well done on putting it on. I know it's been COVID's causing a few issues the last few years, but it's good to see it's back on again. And I encourage all modelling clubs in Melbourne to jump in because it's just a really fun day.
It is a great day.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a highlight.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's very different to anything else on the calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Mm.
Ian, what you been up to?
Still motoring along on the Armour Mustang.
Oh, yeah. The Musaru Cup.
Musaru Cup build, the Armour Hobbies.
How's it going?
Fuselage together. I've fallen in the trap that everyone else has, and that is when you glue the fuselage halves together, the base of the tail, you shouldn't glue, but everyone's done it. I've fallen for the same trap.
Why shouldn't you glue it?
Because it narrows the cord. So when you actually put the tail on, there's a step.
Oh, okay.
So I've had to do a bit of filling on there. Wings are done.
So you filled in all the...
Yep, filled in all the panel lines I had to on the wings.
Yep.
Wings are attached. I found an interesting way because painting the wheel wells, going off the instructions, it's
told us this last episode, I'm sure of it, how you used the toothpick method.
I don't think I mentioned because I hadn't done it by previous episode.
Okay.
I don't think I had, but yeah, basically I just painted it with AK polished aluminium.
Yep.
And then just made a mix of chromatic yellow out of just Vallejo's, just by eye, got it the right colour, and sloppily hand painted it on there, and just used a toothpick, and it just come off the AK just without leaving a mark. So I didn't have to worry about masking or anything. I just used a toothpick and just scraped it off where I didn't want it, and it came up a treat.
Yeah.
But the thing is, going off all the photos I have of, I think it's 3 Squadron RFF early model Mustangs, all the inner wheel well doors are closed. So either they've taken the photos or they've just closed them and the pressure hasn't dropped and they haven't gone down. So I've modelled mine with them closed. So all that work I've done you hardly see anyway.
Which is typical of you.
Yeah. But no, that's come along quite well.
You're still sitting down with a few of the other boys from the other podcasts and talking about it?
But unfortunately, them being in the States and me being all the way down here, by the time I get in the conversation, they've usually gone to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, occasionally I'll put a bit. I know Matt McDougall's, geez, he's so close to being finished now. He's must be doing a different boxing to ours because he's doing a French one.
But he's not doing it as for the
no, he's just
Cup. He's just doing it for fun.
Yeah, he's just
right
in the group as well.
Yep.
But geez, you can really see why he's so popular on YouTube. The guy is phenomenal when it comes to building.
Yeah,
he's really, really good.
And how's our good mate Will Patterson going with his?
Yeah, he's doing quite well. Yeah.
Damn, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, everyone's doing quite well. We're all enjoying it. It's not our scale.
Yeah,
but considering what we've got to work with, and the build quality is quite good.
Kentucky Dave hasn't even started his yet.
No, he's still working on a Kate, I think.
Yeah. He's going to find himself running out of time so fast, man.
Yeah.
It's going to tick around and he's going to go, oh!
Yep, totally.
And given that they won last year, he's got some big shoulders to sort of stand on.
Exactly, yeah. So besides that, at the Waverley Interclub, they had a bit of a swap and sell.
Oh, yeah, I bought something while I was there
so
too.
I purchased a Edward 48 scale Mark 9C early Spitfire. And thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
They're all desert camo ones, aren't they?
No, one of them was the European scheme, but with a big bulldog badge on the front.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is the one we looked at, Julie, and you thought, oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, the really cool thing about it, when you read the blurb, the guy who flew it was an Aussie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was nice. And then,
so you're going to do that one?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, nice.
And then, of course, I was at the local hobby shop, the Hobby Man,
and you bought another thing?
Bought another one. Bought another Mark 9C, but a late version, Edward. And yesterday I made a purchase on B&A for, I think it's the Mark 16 or 4.
And every time you
bubble top.
Every time you walk into that place, they must start rubbing their hands together.
They do.
There comes the whale.
Buy more kits.
Looks like lunch is on me, boys.
So I think that now gives me 12 Edward Spitfires in the collection.
Wow.
So I've got a few.
You can start building them soon, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. So I'll be finishing my order today with Red Roo models for some 451 and 457 Aussie Spitfire squadrons.
Yep.
So I can do some of your late model ones in as Australians
Yep.
as well. So I'd be surprised how many of my Spitfires are going to be flown by Aussies.
Very cool.
So besides that, that's about it for me.
June.
Yeah, I've been working on my various sci-fi things. As I said, I finished the Mazda Cosmo for the Waverley Inter Club. And that was,
Again, that just
I got it done the day beforehand.
Just absolutely gorgeous.
So how'd you go with little stickers?
The stickers were great.
They go, oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. What I did is I cut them on the sheet, and then you sort of peel them off the blue backing, and they're attached to like a clear thing that sticks over the top of them, and then you lay it down, and then you peel off the
clear
part, leaving just the chromey bits.
Yep. But such a good
was
idea, isn't it? For
yeah,
badges?
it is. Yeah. It was a bit tricky though, especially for the main badge on the bonnet.
Yeah, the MASD, yeah, Mazda.
No.
Oh, the little badge.
Yeah, the badge. So the way they did it is like there's a raised portion on the front of the car, and then you put a blue decal over that, and I clear coated that so that it was underneath, all secured down, and then I had this sticker thing, and then I put the sticker thing on, and then when I went to peel it off, it wanted to come off with the thing that I'm peeling off.
Yeah.
So it just wanted to come off. So I had to sort of like peel off a little bit and then push it down and then peel off a little bit more and then push that down. And I got it there in the end. It wasn't that big a deal.
How'd you go with the spacing for the Mazda letters?
No, that's all one piece. So you just lay it all down.
Oh, that's all one piece.
Yeah, and then
you
just peel it off and it's all perfectly
So it's
spaced.
not like separate letters.
No, you don't have to worry about alignment or anything like
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, easy.
And of course,
Easy.
You've posted pictures on our Facebook page for people to go and have a look at.
Yeah, not that you can see those badges and things in that greater detail. Because I just use my phone to take those photos, and I really need a new phone that'll do better. And aside from that, I'm working on the Falcon from MAK.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And as mentioned in the previous episode, I've been chopping and changing a few minor things, very minor things, really. So at the front, there's like at the very, very front of the ship, there's sort of like the spinner.
Yeah, the P-38 Lightning engines.
Yeah, engine spinners. Yeah. So I filled in the holes where the props would be, because that's very obviously a spinner if you don't do that. So I filled those in, and then the sort of grill type thing on the end, I cut out. And then behind that there's another sort of blanked off thing, which I cut out as well. And then I replaced it with some cheap aftermarket that I bought that fit the correct diameter.
Yep.
It's basically like a jet engine kind of a thing. And so I've got like intake with cones in the front there.
Oh yeah. Very cool.
And I was going to just sort of call it at that as far as the physical features go. But I've thought, well, I might sort of channel my kit bashing, scratch building kind of thing, because that's kind of like what MAK is about as a model, and so I was looking at it, and you can get some aftermarket to replace the engine at the rear, right? It's actually sold by the 13 Steps, the Hearns Hobbies venture into making tools and things like that, and they actually have a 3D printed replacement engine.
Oh, really?
And they mention that this replaces the quote unquote Yakult bottle engine.
Yep.
And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, it is a Yakult bottle. And so it is. It's a Yakult bottle with some Greeblies on it and stuff. Yeah. And there's actually an MAK kind of a website, like a fact kind of thing, and it shows the original model that was made by
Yokohama.
Yeah. And the original model, both top and bottom, like flipped over kind of thing, and it shows, and it actually details everything he used to make it, every model that was used, every little tiny thing on it, right? And so there's a bit of a car body that's sort of in parts of the main sort of fuselage in the center. the Yakult bottle on the back. There's the P38 nacelles on the front. There's lots of different tank and car kits and things involved in it, and obviously quite a lot of like kind of like filling out to create the shape of the fuselage kind of thing in the middle. And then so I was looking at that and going from a scratch build to making it into a kit. Obviously, there are things that had to be changed, right? Because now it's a plastic molded kit, and it's subject to the rigors of making things out of with molds. Right? So, for example, that Yakult bottle engine thing at the back is actually like a cone. That's one separate piece at the very tail end, and then you've got two halves, top and bottom, when you make it. And when you finish, you end up with this cylindrical thing that's got like pipes and things all over it. But the pipes, as they're getting closer to the edges of those molds,
they're more blending in.
They're not. Then you know how it is. Like if you've got like a molded on pipe or a cable over a surface, it's fine if that surface is perfectly horizontal. When the parts start getting almost vertical, you end up with shapes that don't look like pipes anymore. They only look like pipes from the front face.
Yep.
Right. So as a result, I've shaved off one of those pipes, and I want to replace it with some tube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to do things like that. So I did buy another cheap piece of aftermarket, and it's an oil cooler that is on the side fuselage of a PZL-11. The little Polish sort of pre-war, pre-World War II kind of fighter, or early World War II kind of fighter. So it's got one of those. It's got the curvature, but it's also an oil cooler. So it's got like that grill kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a cool thing. I'll stick one of them on there, and I'm thinking of what other pipes I can replace, because the pipe I have replaced, well, the pipe that I have shaved off, I haven't replaced it yet, but that pipe is by itself, so it's easy to remove and then sand it all smooth. But all the other ones are sort of clustered together, so you can't really, if you remove one of them,
you got to remove the lot.
Kind of.
Yep.
So I'm not sure.
Get any inspirations out of the book Mac 44?
That's the thing, right? Because I've been holding on to that book for like a week. And
Dave originally gave it to me, but the problem was as soon as I got home from the last recording after our great chat with Lincoln, I got straight online and bought myself a copy. So I gave Mike the one that Link gave to us. I gave to Julian for a week. So but it's so inspiring.
Yeah, so that's been sitting there, like sort of getting into my head a lot, and that's why I've decided to make a few changes, because I'm getting in the spirit of MAK, so to speak, and
yes,
it's very much about
MAK is the way.
Yeah, MAK is the scratch building and sort of like kit bashing taken to the pinnacle until it actually got made into a kit, right?
Yes.
So it'll be now that I've come that far, I've thought, well, is there anything else I want to make to it? Because if I start painting this thing, that's it. It's in the painting stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you look at the title of it. The Falcon is like an armored raider, and I did read into some brief stuff about like the lore behind the vehicle, and it doesn't really. What I sort of keep thinking about is it like a hovering tank, or is it like an armored plane kind of thing?
And which is it?
And from what I can tell, it kind of flies, right?
Yep.
But the problem is I don't know how armored is armored. Because that's what I want to know. Because like if you look at other MAK like armored, like suits and things like that, there's quite a lot of detail around the opening of the hatches and stuff like that, like at the top of the suits.
Yes.
And so it's almost like you can tell like it's got a seal around there, and there's thickness to the body of it. But on the Falcon there isn't. So it kind of looks like it's more of like a plane with, say, 20 mil thick armor.
Right. Yep.
Maybe like more like an armored car is what I'm thinking. Yeah. But I kind of love those sort of details where it's like got some thickness to it around like the entrance, so that you can see that there's a sealed off hatch thing, kind of. But it's not there, and I'm wondering if I should, because it'd be a lot of stuffing around to try and create that.
Oh, definitely.
a lot of stuff ringing around. I don't think I can do it, actually. I really don't. It's a very organic shape, that opening.
Yeah, it is.
And I'd have to build it up on the inside as well as on the inside of the hatch, and that's already got lots of detail. And
Yeah, you don't want to lose that.
yeah, so I'm a bit torn about that. But there's also, like, what else could I add to it? Because the materials that you envision it's made from can determine, like, what kind of scratch building you do. Like, if it was thick steel or something like that, like a tank, I could have put, like, grab handles on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do that because it's a bit more plane orientated.
Yep. Yeah.
It's some stuff that I'm thinking of.
Yep.
I really wanted to jump straight to painting, like, this weekend, but then I got to this point and I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I may as well do it properly. I've always been a fan of, like, you know, when people like Martin Kovacs and how he can, you know, Mr. Night Shift. Was it Uncle Night Shift? Uncle Night Shift, and how he, like, you'll see his thumbnails, and, like, there'll always be that cool shot that people love of the kit with the stippled on cast texture, and then he's got some photo etch and he's got some resin, and you'll sort of see it before the paint goes on it.
Yep.
And there's, like, so much scratch building and things like that.
You can see how much work has gone into it.
Yeah, and I kind of like the idea of having, like, this is the furthest I've already come, so I'm already like a little bit of the way down that road. It's like how much further am I willing to go down this road?
That's it. It's always the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up, Dave.
No, I'm awake. I mentioned earlier on that your car is actually shown on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook and causing some issues. And I know a couple of the other podcasts have gone down this route, and we're going to be looking at doing it too in the very near future. We're having trouble with people actually being able to post pictures of their stuff to our page. So I'm going to sort of pretty much do what the Geeks have done, and also what Mojo have done, and have a dedicated page for our followers to be able to post their
Good idea.
builds and stuff. So that'll be coming in the near future, subject to me sort of mucking around and chasing floodwaters around the state. We'll have to see when that gets out, and we'll get something organised for that. So I think that'll be really cool. So it's coming down the track.
Yeah, because there's so many good modelers out there, and, like, they'll show us a photo on the email here, and that's as far as it gets, which is a real shame because no one else can see it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to try and think of a name for it too.
I mean, they'll still be able to, like, if they want to send photos for us to see, but they don't necessarily want other people to see it, that's fine too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, we'll come up with a name.
Yeah, I'll have to think of a name. The Bench's Bench or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something silly.
All right, let's have a very quick break, and then we'll dive into some listener mail. Back very shortly. The Scale Model Supply. Certified Australian made, the Scale Model Supply has a comprehensive range of premium acrylic lacquer paints that have been specifically developed to cater to the scale modeler. Designed to use straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake, pour and spray for a fast drying and extremely durable result. But wait, there's more. SMS have just released the new water-based range, Infinite Colour. It is the ideal paint for anyone who is into miniature painting. And with 48 colours that can be mixed to create any colour you want, the possibilities are, well, infinite. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, aircraft, train, car, science fiction, or even Gunpla. SMS paints will have a colour to suit you. Available now through selected stockists worldwide and online at www.scalemodeler.com.au. Okay, and we're back, and I've got a little bit of mail in, which is interesting and good. It's always fantastic to hear from everybody. Of course, if you want to send us an email, you can simply send it to onthebench64@gmail.com. The first email we have, a pull out of the bag, comes from Tim Holland, who writes in regards to episode 148, thanks for the sort of shout out. If you remember, Tim wrote in with, we were talking about Shelf Queens. he writes in that the carrier that we saw in his pictures that he sent us is a 1/700 scale for Jimmy HMS Eagle in mid-1950s configuration, which is awaiting some 3D printed replacement anti-aircraft, which is, 1/700 scale. That's really
1/700.
Yeah,
that's tiny. Yeah,
that's really small. The tiny aircraft that we saw in the picture are all 1/300 scale white metal.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a P-47, the Spitfire, B-29, B-24 and a B-17. They need decals, but unfortunately Tim's sort of lost interest in it. And the oldest kit that he had there was his old Frog BF-110G, which he started back in the 80s and finally finished it in 2020. Needed a new nose because the original had been a short shot. And it was brush painted except for the very light model. But what I got wrong when I last read out Tim's email from the last episode was that he is the president of the Southern Maryland Scale Modelers. And if you tootle on over to the Geeks podcast, you'll hear all about the exciting model show they're going to be doing next year, which I think is going to be in Hollywood, Maryland, out of the local fire department there. So pop on over and have a listen to them, and that's a really, really exciting sort of thing that these guys are doing. Tim's also got a blog. It's called the greenshirtmodeler.blog. So please pop on over there and have a read of what Tim's got to say. Really nice chap. Met him when we were in at Omaha. Great guy. Next email comes from Michael Cano. Sorry, Michael.
Kanoka.
Yeah, that's what I would have said as well. Michael writes in, "Hi gents, I was wondering what models, suppliers, kits you may have found with relative ease during a recent trip to IPMS Nationals that are difficult or darn near impossible to get in Australia."
Well, Varga.
Varga for one, yeah.
For one, yeah.
Although we can get Varga across via mail.
Is it Varga or Vargas?
Vargas.
Varga, sorry.
Yes, Vargas. I don't know why I said Varga. Varga, they used to do all the pretty girl art. Getting the jump on the Edward kits before anyone else did.
Yeah, that was another highlight.
People like Barracuda were there, so you could, rather than sit there online and try and find, he had everything there. You just go, oh, one of them.
And you can't beat looking at something in real life rather than looking at online. And,
value gear.
Yeah.
Which I know can be a bit of a problem getting out here unless you order it.
And there are a couple of book suppliers as well, which I can't think of the names off the top of my head.
Oh, that one from England that was down, yeah.
What was the other one? There was another one there too. And they had some really great sort of books and stuff, which by and large I would never have heard of.
But the main thing was actually being able to chat to these people too.
Yeah, 100%.
Like having a chat with Roy Sutherland. He's such a nice bloke.
Yeah. So Michael says, keep up the great job you're doing each podcast. Best regards and best wishes from New York City in the US.
The Big Apple.
Yeah, lovely place to visit. Jamie Stokes writes in from the South Australian Plastic Models Association. They had their show just the other week, and he sends a whole heap of pictures, including the category in which we actually sponsored, which was the large ships category. And looking at the stuff there, we can't wait to get there next year, can we? And actually go there for the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. And if this show is any indication, we're really excited about the ability to get over there. And he kindly also put in some pictures of some real space subjects just for me because he knew I was interested. So thanks very much for that, Jamie. And again, we just can't wait to get over and see you next year. A little bit more information in the South Australian Model Expo. There were 578 models on the table, which over 330 were for judging, which is really good. And the section that we actually sponsored, large ships, the winner was first place HMS Bounty and Launch,
which is a cutaway too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Second place for the Carthaginian Trimarine, and third place was the Bismarck with lighting, moving turrets, and also recoiling gun. as
Whoa.
well as a cutaway section, small cutaway section.
Is it Trimarine or is it?
Trimarine.
Yeah.
Tri being for 3.
Right.
3. Trust me, I know my ships. It's
It's
Trimarine.
Bimarine, which is
it's
2.
It's not marine. It's trireme.
I said Trimarine. Trireme.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Trimarine.
Trireme.
It's easily done.
It's very impressive, either way.
Yeah,
It's very, very
It
attractive.
looks quite large.
We'll have a crack at one of those one day. Some news is being dropped. Good friend Kevin Footer writes in, says, "G'day, Dave, Ian and Julian. I know it seems like only yesterday we released our build guide for the Wigged Up Wings Felixstowe, but I'm pleased to announce..."
Which is a great book.
Yeah, the e-version. And I'm pleased to announce that we're back already with a new one, which is building the Airfix Buccaneer, the S2C in 148 scale by Jeff Coughlin, the same author who was responsible for the recent Phantom book. In this 112-page ebook, Jeff takes you through the building and the painting of the new kit, along with Jeff's terrific build, which also includes some colour profiles from Simon Hill, an overview of the kit itself, and a set of ordnance-related bonus photos. The book has already been updated to version 1.1 and is available for the princely sum of $15 from our website. And that's at www.klp.com.au. It's from our good mate Kevin and KLP Publishing.
And just to give you an update too, he very shortly he'll be bringing out the book on building the 124 scale Hellcat.
Oh, right. Of note also, Ryan Hodsall wrote in and sent us a whole heap of pictures from the show in South Australia, so thanks very much for that, mate. Scale Model Challenge. So Robert Crombeck, is that Crombeck? Crombeck. He wrote in, "Hi guys, listening to episode 148 with Lincoln. Just to clear something up, the Scale Model Challenge show is an annual show in
Which
Europe.
I got totally wrong again.
Always the third weekend in October. The next edition or next show is going to be in the 14th, 15th of October 2023. We hosted the World Model Expo this year indeed. It was actually meant to happen in 2020, but then COVID happened, causing us to postpone twice. But now we're back, or will be, annually with the Scale Model Challenge. And indeed, we invited Link for next year. Wow, that's really cool. Keep up the good work with the OTB podcast. I enjoy the show. Best regards, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
So, again, that's the Scale Model Challenge 2023, October 14th and 15th.
In Eindhoven.
Eindhoven, which happens to be where?
In the Netherlands.
Which also happens to be?
In Holland.
There you go.
Which is the same place. I went to Eindhoven, but I was about 12 when I went there last.
Adam Gray writes in saying, "I've been seeing some Aussie 124th plastic model kits on local model shop websites. There seems to be variants of the Holden HQ sedans and panel vans. Any chance you could interview the company behind them, what their future plans may be? Looks like they're called DDA Collectibles and have been doing die-cast cars for a number of years and are now branching out into plastic kits." Well, we will have to actually chase that rabbit down that hole because Julian is in a mad car building stage at the moment, and of course Ian's a mad nut for Aussie cars. So
Yeah, Aussie muscle cars, love them.
I'll definitely chase that one.
Yeah, thanks for that.
All right, that's about it. We've got an email in from the Falcon. So
Is that what I could hear?
Yes.
Actually, they make a pretty crappy sound for a bird of prey. Beep, beep.
They do. All right. Should we go straight into it?
Yeah, let's hook in.
All right, no worries. Let's have a look and see what the Falcon's got to say. Hello, Dave, Ian and Julian. Last time we heard news from the All Japan Model and Hobby Show, not everyone noticed that around about the same time E-Day was taking place, they had some news of their own. Edward gave a public presentation on what they had in the works. I should point out that the following comes from a machine translation. I think I got the gist of it, but who knows. So, coming in 148 scale is a BF 109G-12 Avia
CS99. Yep.
From what I understand, there will be 3 fuselages to cater for variations. There was mention of the G4, a G6 and a G10, but the translation wasn't very clear to me. We will also be getting a BF 109K-4 and an S199. The S199 is planned for release at E-Day in 2023.
Yeah, because the K variant's the only one that Edward hasn't tackled yet.
Oh, okay. Edward was showing CAD renders for a 48 scale MiG-21F-13. The kit is all new and shares no parts with their previous MiG-21s. Hallelujah, because I had issues with their MiG-21 getting the bank seat to sit down properly. All air brakes are separate, and you will be able to see the cannon under the forward air brakes. There will be an alternative cockpit parts for the Finnish examples, and Edward planned to have the kit ready for release at the end of 2023. We have seen the last of the due boxings of the ZIL Trenner for a while. From now on, the Trenner will be offered in a single profile pack or weekend boxings.
Profi pack.
Edward are taking the Trenner very seriously. All minor variations are catered to. If you're holding out for a kit of the Z26, you can give up on that, as Edward won't be doing one. Edward also working on a 148 scale Blanik L-13 glider, and to paraphrase a fictional Soviet submarine commander, and I hope you read this in Sean Connery's voice, there will be one kit and one kit only. How's that?
Pretty bad.
One ping, please, Vasily. I understand the wing treatment is a little different on this kit. The wing parts, upper and lower, are continuous from wingtip to wingtip, making it very hard to get the dihedral wrong. Apparently the kit is in large part a test bed for new construction techniques and a way to train new 3D designers. And finally, the news that will excite most people, the 148 scale P51B/C is coming.
Yay.
The kit will come in both filleted and non-fillet versions. There will be an improvement in the way the main undercarriage legs are attached. Can't vouch for the accuracy of the rest of the kit, but the propeller should be spot on. Edward 3D scanned the prop from Hamilton standard, uncuffed propeller, so no excuses if they get that wrong. There you go. Co-production with other manufacturers will continue, though apparently it is difficult in Asia, more with Japan than China. Edward will continue co-operations with Revell and ICM. They are working with Kinetic Models to bring out a 148 scale Lockheed F-104 with Vietnam War markings. Mind you, that jet failed miserably during that war. They would like to resume co-productions with Zvezda, but they will have to wait until the war ends. They are particularly interested in Zvezda's Mi-35 and Su-25. With all that, it sounds like Edward are going to have a very busy 2023.
Definitely.
It went a bit unnoticed among all the excitement over Tamiya's F-35, but Trumpeter showed a full set of sprues for a 172nd A6 Intruder at the All Japan Hobby Show. A bit of a shock for everyone, as it had been in their catalogue since Cocky was an egg, but nothing ever came of it. Seems like Trumpeter decided it's about time they got round to actually putting the kit out. Examination of the sprues show the kit will come with folded wings and the slats and flaps in deployed positions. Does that mean you can't have them in the non-deployed? In 70 seconds?
Well, there's a lot of criticism about their 48 scale A4 and how like the leading edge slats are always in the retract. They're just molded in, and you can't do a one that's sitting on the deck.
Okay. Special Hobby have just shown the sprues for the new 72nd scale fairly albacore. While the surface detailing isn't quite the level of Armour Hobby, it did look quite very crisp and fine. So should make an attractive model. Planned for release in 2022. Still on the Special Hobby bandwagon, they have just announced that the refurbished Azure 48 scale Potes 630 series kits won't be released this year. They're still working on new moulds for the transparencies and other unspecified older parts, so we'll have to wait until 2023 to see the first of them. Perhaps to make up for the delayed release, Special Hobby are adding a
Protest.
637 to the lineup. The 637 was a special reconnaissance variant with a ventral gondola for the observer. They are saying this is the very first time this variant will be produced in plastic.
It's still an ugly plane.
Yeah, I know. Micromere have shown sprue shots for the 48 scale de Havilland Venom FB.4. The release gets ever closer. Soon, Sylvester will be joining the HIP crowd. They have just shown CAD renders for the 48 scale MI-8MT and the MIL-17 HIP H helicopter. The alarming lack of detail or surface detail on their recent 48 scale MI-24 Hind inspired modelers on a Russian forum to inquire if the new MI-8 would have rivets. The Zvezda spokesman replied that the new HIP would be partially riveted. Make what you want of that comment. If you don't want to wait to see how Zvezda kit turns out, Trumpeter will release their own 48 scale MI-8MT-MI-17 HIP H in October, November 2022. If they don't have enough on their plate already, JetMads have announced they'll be...
Probably Jet Mods.
Jet Mods, you reckon?
Yeah.
Spelling?
No, I'm pretty sure that's actually JetMads.
Oh, it is JetMads. There's a company called JetMads. Okay.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I think so, yeah.
JetMads have announced that they'll be releasing a 1/18th scale resin kit of the Douglas A4 Skyhawk.
That'd be huge.
There are even CAD renders. JetMads Neptune, Draken and Raptor kits are also said to be progressing well. JetMads only have to produce and send out a second run of their 32nd scale Vigan and 500 stilettos and 500 and the 500 Learjets, and then they will have plenty of time to get started on the Skyhawk. There you go. If you're into your Skyhawks,
it's going to be a big kit in 1/8
scale. It's going to be huge. Hobby, in a couple of days from the time of recording, will reveal the subject of their next 72nd scale release. It will be a variant of the existing armour kit. They say the conversion to the new variant will be made using 3D printed parts. The smart money is on it being a Hurricane Mark 2D tank buster or the Mark IV with rockets.
I thought I saw somewhere online that it actually may be a Sea Hurricane.
That's what I saw. With a little resin.
Yeah, resin insert for the hook.
Yeah, for the hook, yeah.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
in 70, it'd be nice to... because they were shot off a catapult, so
Yeah.
it'd be cool if they could do the catapult as well.
Well, I doubt they'd do that.
That'd be cool though. 72nd scale wouldn't be that big.
Yeah, scratch build your own.
I guess so. AZ models are soon to add. Well, that's actually for Mike over at Plastic Model Mojo.
He loves this kit.
Crazy on that stuff.
Yeah.
Challenge has been thrown down, Mike. AZ models are soon to add another kit to their family of second scale. Yokosuka. Thank you. D4 White Duties. The next kit will be the D4Y3
Sushi.
33. That's not how you say sushi.
Sushi.
No, that'll do.
I'm pretty sure that's Suisse or something.
Suisse.
There will only be 3 marking options, 1 overall orange with black, engine cowling prototype, and 2 green over grey operational machines. Look out for releases in October 2022. Sova M have a new boxing of their 72nd scale Beechcraft 1900D. It is a limited edition kit with markings for an aircraft operated by Central Mountain Air, available in October 2022. A model are releasing another variant of their 78 scale IL...
72nd? Where'd you get 78 from?
I said 72nd.
No, you didn't. Oh, the 72nd scale, yes.
Dang. A model are releasing another variant of their 72nd scale IL-17 Candid.
76.
Oh,
Making a hash at the moment, Dave.
wow. The F word's nearly coming out. God. The new release will be an illusioned IL 76 MD Candid, Ukraine and Indian service. Okay, I'm over that hump. There is a bit more news about Takeom's 35th scale MQ-8B Fire Scout drone helicopter. Turns out there will be 2 complete model kits in the box with parts for both early and later nose types. Also multiple stores layouts. So all that you can make from these 2 quite different looking models. Decals are provided for 4 marking options. There will be photo etch parts as well. What more could you ask for? There was a bit of kerfuffle on a prominent aircraft forum over the soon-to-be-released 48 scale Airfix Avro Anson. The initial poster claimed that Airfix had depicted the wings as fabric stretched over ribs when the wings were actually surfaced with plywood panels, which were in turn covered with fabric. Actually, Spitfire are well aware...
What? Actually, Airfix?
Yeah. Actually, Airfix...
You said actually Spitfire.
Did I? Actually, Airfix are well aware of how the wings are made. They even LiDAR scanned the real Anson. However, it seems they chose a particularly clapped-out Anson to scan. One of those plywood wing panels had badly sagged after years of less than ideal storage conditions. Looking at the CAD renders of the Airfix Anson, you can see how someone might mistake the sagging plywood for fabric sagging over ribs, as it looks very pronounced. However, people who have seen the actual plastic say the effect is not as exaggerated as it appears in the renders, and let's hope so. There's been a lot of...
controversies over at Airfix.
What's new?
Well, I haven't got the kit, so I'm going to stay out of that discussion.
It's 72nd scale, is it not? No, it's
48 scale. 48 scale.
Okay. 'Cause I was going to say, if it's 72nd scale, I don't have any reason to care anyway.
Yeah.
Science fiction.
Ooh.
Takeom are releasing a 1+1+1 boxing of the Third Reich's Hanabu 1, 2 and 3 flying saucers in 1/350 scale. Along with the 3 saucers, you get a set of boarding stairs. How did World War II Germany get flying saucers to work, you ask? Well, someone who has looked into this told me it is magnets.
Yes,
and I'm wondering why they're doing this in 1/350 scale. Because the 1/72 scale version is quite a large kit. So I get that, but dropping all the way down to 1/350.
Maybe just to stick on your...
ships.
Yeah, your Graf Zeppelin.
All I know is like...
You do a what if Graf Zeppelin, 1946.
It seems like poor value when you get 3 saucers and no cups to put on them.
Boom, boom.
Okay. Military vehicles. Let's see what the Falcon's got to say about that. Seems we are back to normal as there is plenty of armour news this fortnight. Gecko Models will soon release the late war version of their 1/35th scale British Army 4x2 heavy ambulance. The kit includes a driver figure. There are 4 marking options, all vehicles operating in northwest Europe from June 1944. Takeom have announced a new 1/35th
Sturmgeschütz.
STUG-3 OS
Yeah, it's a Stug.
FG in Winterkitten.
Winterkitten.
I said Winterkitten.
Is it?
Kitten.
Kitten.
It is what it is. Damn it, let's move on.
The extended tracks.
Zvezda will be releasing a new toolkit of their Ziz-3 76mm Soviet anti-tank gun with a crew in 1/35th scale. Parts are included to build the Ziz-2 57mm anti-tank. If you also choose, when Zvezda posted the WIP renders of the kit, people noticed a couple of mistakes. Amazingly, Zvezda actually corrected their problems before production. Interesting. Ace Models have a 1/72nd scale Soviet A-19 122mm gun in the works. Amusing Hobby have just shown CAD renders for a 1/35th scale Russian Uran-9 tracked unmanned combat ground vehicle. Had to look this one up, says the Falcon. Apparently it has already seen service in Syria. Thunder Models might still be alive. Box art for a 1/35th scale case tractor with armoured driver's position has been sighted. They have promised some interesting subject matter, so it would be great to see them back in business. Trumpeter releases slated for October, November this year. A 135th scale MAZ 545 transporter with a MZAP 52476 semi-trailer.
It's a truck with trailer.
Yeah. 135th scale Iron Dome air defence system.
That's getting a bit of talk lately, isn't it?
It is. 135th scale 2S35-1 Kolistia SVKSH.
I don't know how that's pronounced. It's Russian, but it might say Kolitsaya or something like that.
Yeah. And also they're doing a 35th scale Baz 6403 with another trailer, so another truck. In 72nd scale, Trumpeter are doing the German Leopard 2A4 main battle tank, and in the same scale, they're doing a Russian 9P140 Tel. Oh, God. Which is a Mylars type vehicle. Trumpeter 2022 release for December, doing a 72nd scale US M983 tractor with a TPY2 X-band radar. Yeah, that's a bit of a yawn for me, I think. Hobby Boss. Let's see what Hobby Boss are doing according to the Falcon. Geez, some more yawns coming up. 72nd scale. These are both in 72nd scale.
Topol M ICBM complex in 172nd. And a Russian BM-21 grad late version in 172nd. I don't know what that is.
I don't know why, but...
The Topol is the great big nuke launcher type vehicle.
Yeah.
It's like,
multi-wheel.
Looks like a centipede with a big tube on its back.
That might actually capture my interest. So
Really?
Yeah.
They have to be in 72nd because it's a huge kit.
Well,
it's like it's like 30, 40 centimeters long or something.
I'll take a quick look. They're charging this for sale for $300.
But that's 35th scale.
72nd scale is my scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's why they come in 72nd scale, because they're ridiculously long.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. David would probably get one.
I probably will. Mini Art have a couple of kits soon to be released. A 135th scale farm cart with village accessories.
Yes.
What if it comes with a village idiot? Reboxing of the 35th scale Austin Armoured Car 3rd Series.
For Fleet
in
Corp.
Fleet Corp's service.
Ah, cool.
I know Ian already has one of these kits, but he may want to take a look at this release. All 4 decal options feature prominent skull and crossbone markings. Sounds like something to be right up his alley.
Yeah, it really would, but I'm not really that into the Free Corps.
Okay.
German Civil War after World War One.
Just a little bit of naval news before we finish up. Trumpeter ship kit releases for October, November. There's going to be 1/700 scale HMS Exeter and 1/700 scale HMS Belfast in 1959 rig. And for December 2022, in 700 scale also, the Russian destroyer Tashkent in 1942 variant. That's all for now from the Falcon.
That was a fair bit today.
Yeah, and there's a lot of... It got a bit really tedious in the middle there, where there was just nothing but serial number type names,
Yeah, I might have to sort of... I don't know. But I'm sure there's somebody out there who it means something to.
Yeah. For us, not. But
Yeah, you almost have to search it up, because you don't know what half of these sub-variants are.
yeah.
You don't. All right, let's have a quick break, and then we're going to have a chat with our good mate Chris Meddings.
Sounds like a plan.
Be back very shortly. Whether you build aircraft, armour, ships, science fiction, cars or figures, the Fine Scale Modeller magazine provides the how-to information you need to take your modelling to the next level. In each issue of Fine Scale Modeller, you'll find clear how-to features on model assembly and finishing written by experts, reviews of the hottest model kits and products, tips and techniques for assembling, painting and finishing, as well as inspiring photos of readers' models. To find out how you can get your copy of Fine Scale Modeller, go to www.finescale.com. And hello and welcome to the show, and we have the illustrious Mr. Chris Meddings joining us.
Woohoo!
Hey, round of applause.
Stop that.
Wow, no, it gets
You notice I waited till you finished before I said that, though, right?
Mate, how the hell are you?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, tired.
You're burning the candles at both ends, and there's a reason why you're doing that.
Yeah, because I can't plan time well. Every fucking time. I was the same when I was a kid. It's like, when should I do my homework the night before?
Yep.
The real reason is you're
Always the
busy
same.
right in the middle of getting ready to publish the second instalment of your wonderful books to support the efforts over in Ukraine.
Yeah, this is Models for Ukraine 2, and it goes to print on, it goes to the printer for proof and everything on Wednesday. This time it's 120 pages. The last one was, I think, 96. So a bit bigger. And also this time, everything except one is brand new. They're all written for the book this time rather than last time where they were, as articles featuring Ukrainian models collected together. So all new stuff, and we've got some really big names. But I'm a one-man business, so I do all the editing, all of the layouts, everything. So it's a lot of work. Although I have to say, before I forget, thank you to Mark Neville at Air Modeler, who's laid out 2 of the articles for me. He's done a beautiful job. The only problem is they make the rest of the book look not so good. And then also I need to thank Olaf Kivit, Adrian, I'm going to forget people. Adrian, Alex, Devin, and some other people for proofreading the book.
Oh, they know who they are. They know who they are.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, because I'm awful. I used to, when I was editing Sam, I used to get letters all the time saying the modeling's great, photos are fantastic, but the grammar, which apparently was in a modelling magazine, was the most important thing. But there you go. So,
but it's just it's such a wonderful way to sort of help support a worthy cause, and also sort of rope in and bring in and weave into it our hobby as well. And so the first book you did, how much did you end up raising for that one?
£19,300.
Oh my god, that's
I don't know what that is in Australian money.
That's a lot.
About 6 months ago, it probably would have been about $40,000. Now it's probably only about $10,000 the way the pound's going.
I think it's probably nearer $10. That was, when I say that was how much we donated to charity. So that was after costs, but the only costs I take out of it are for the printing and for transaction fees, because PayPal take their 1.5% blood for every transaction, and credit cards are a little bit, it varies on which country you're in and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I couldn't afford to cover the probably £1,500 of fees myself to make sure it was more profit. But so I take the transaction fees off, but that's it. I don't take anything for doing it, and none of the authors take anything for doing it.
So once you do this one, do you think that we'll be needing to do a third book, or you reckon that the second book will sort of cover it off and see it through? Well, I don't. I'm no expert on war or politics or anything, although I'd like to think I am. But I don't think this war's going to end for a good few months yet. But I don't know if a third book would do so well, and I don't want to risk it and lose money. So I will continue to do stuff, but what I plan to do after this one is to release the odd sort of e-publication, which is 2 or 3 articles put together. And just as long as people are willing to contribute them, to keep doing that for as long as it takes, really. And just, it won't be raising as much, but it'll be raising a little bit. And with it being an e-publication, there's no print costs or anything like that. So. And on top of these 2 books, you've also got another podcast which you've kicked off and done, and it's specifically related to Ukraine and modelling also, where you talk to manufacturers and modellers in the Ukraine.
Every time I think I've got a list of all the Ukrainian companies, more come up. Like this week, I found out Halber Models and Rex are both Ukrainian. Rex that do those beautiful metal exhausts.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just, there's so many companies there. I don't know why they punch so high above their weight. And actually today I interviewed ResKit, and they employ, I think, 48 people.
Seriously?
For a model company, that's a big business. So they're obviously very
big,
successful, and they put out a lot of stuff, beautiful stuff as well, absolutely amazing. stuff they produce.
Well, it's so interesting because for such a long time, it was known as Eastern Europe when you and I were sort of a little bit younger, Chris, and I think Julian was just sort of a shining light in his dad's eye. But I'm a Cold War soldier, and Eastern European, anything coming out of Eastern Europe in regard to models, you looked at it and go, oh God. But there was a switch.
Run, wasn't it?
Yeah, after the wall came down, and then sort of into the early 2000s, you started to see these little sort of gems pop up along the way, and then it sort of exploded in Eastern Europe. I'm talking about like Czechoslovakia or the Czech Republic now, Poland, Ukraine. All those, there's some sort of switch that's been thrown, and they're becoming a real powerhouse now for our hobby.
They were always really strong modelers, because from the guys I've spoken to over there in Poland as well as Ukraine, it was like, and we spoke to Martin Kovac about this as well. It was like a sport in the communist countries that kids are really encouraged to do it and to be competitive with it. And modelling was seen as an art, that should be pursued. So there was always a really strong modelling culture. But I think maybe with the wall coming down and the expansion of kind of private enterprise and stuff, a lot of people thought, how can I make my hobby into a business?
Yep.
And managed to get it up and going. But as well, one thing that's really come across doing the podcast is Ukrainians are real self-starters. They don't wait for the government to do something for them, or they don't wait for someone else to go, hey, we should do this. They just do it. And it makes a lot of sense then. You think, well, if they've got an idea, they're just going to go and do it.
And the other thing too, the other big thing over in that part of the world too is paper models as well. That's huge over there.
Yeah. That's a dark art, isn't it?
When
someone goes, I make vec forms, I'm so clever. It's like, try paper. I'll be honest, that's the one area of modelling I'm scared of. I'd try vac forms, I'll try anything, but paper, it's like...
Yeah, we have a guy that comes down to Melbourne Model Expo every year.
Yeah, and he does ships.
Yeah, he's was it the cardboard admiral or something? He's called?
Cardboard Commodore.
No, the cardboard Commodore. Right. And the stuff,
that's brilliant.
And half the stuff you need to look twice to realise it's actually made out of paper.
Yeah, complete with rigging that he puts on and everything. It's just
they even do Formula One cars in paper.
And as a judge, it's really because they enter the paper models in with the plastic models for the judging. And you go, how do I judge this against a plastic one? It is so hard.
Yeah.
Because, there's obvious flaws that you can't get around with paper modelling. Yeah. And you go, well, should I give this leeway because that's the limit of the medium? Or, it's just, it's a tough one.
But on the bright side, it doesn't happen very often because their build speed is glacial.
It takes 4 years to cut one out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be me with the scissors. Snip, snip, snip. There'll be paper models listing
you
going,
can't use paper, you can filler,
Yeah, tape it back
I feel like we're having a bit of a joke at their expense.
That being said, I was at Telford, must have been, it's pre-pandemic, and it would have been a couple of years before that because I stopped going a long time ago, but probably about 2017. And someone entered a 1/200 scale paper Yamato, and it was beautiful. In fact, I didn't realise till someone told me that it was paper. I thought it was a plastic kit, but it was really well done. And I think there was a Nagato as well. That's the other thing. You can buy very big models very cheap if you do paper. So there is that.
You're basically buying a book that you can cut out.
Yeah. Because I'm quite jealous of some of the real space modelers because they've got, paper versions of stuff that you just can't get in plastic. And it looks, even from 1 foot away, it fools you. Because the print
I think that it takes a lot of skill to fool you.
A lot of people probably argue against that.
Well, I mean, if I built one, it wouldn't fool you, is what I'm saying. Because it's been built really well.
I think with paper models, the areas in which you look for flaws are in the opposite place. So with a plastic model, you look at the small details and you go, aha, there's that. Look at that thing. That thing's overscale.
Yeah.
But on a paper model, those parts are going to be fine. It's going to be the broad areas that are going to look obviously paper, like the hull, right? Because you can't really get the curvatures in those pieces of sheets of paper.
A lot of them, sometimes they end up with what a friend of mine, Gordon, calls the starving horse look, that because they've got the ribs inside and there's something stretched over it, it looks like you're seeing the ribs of a horse.
Yes,
You see what I mean?
yeah.
Sort of flat facets as it goes around.
Yeah.
But see, I reckon they could use. I mean, if you designed it properly, you could use it to the correct effect, because that's often what
replicate the ribbing and the oil canning
exactly.
effects. Yeah,
it's the kind of thing that ship modelers wish they could do.
Yeah, I know.
Food for thought.
Yes.
So, how are they getting on over in Ukraine? Because obviously, I know I've listened, but I want to let you sort of explain to our listeners how well they're sort of tracking. They're still getting their production out. They still keep meeting the market sort of requirements for the models and all that. There's no major interruptions that they're seeing, or
early on, they had really bad supply chain problems, because a lot of people don't realise with model companies, although anyone like you guys that's worked in a kind of business will know it, there's always a supply chain. You don't just make everything you produce.
That's right.
It comes in a box which you buy from someone else, and the instructions are printed on paper which you have to buy from someone else. So I was talking to Alexander at Foxbot, and he said at one point they just couldn't get masking sheets to cut the masking film, to do the masks they do. And talking to ResKit today, they couldn't get RTV silicon at one point for casting and stuff like that. And so they all have these sort of issues. I know early on that some of the plastic guys had problems getting cardboard for boxes, and they just couldn't get it. And they're still having issues here and there, but mostly they're pretty much back up and running. Funny you should talk about paper. I think there's a paper I'm going to get the name wrong. I think the paper manufacturer is called Orel, OREL.
Right.
That made plastic models, paper models, sorry. And they've had to completely relocate because they were in the East and they just couldn't do any business at all. So they've recently had to move to Kyiv. So, and then, of course, another problem there was power cuts because of the Russians bombing power stations and stuff. And all the cities run on sort of a distributed power and heat system. So you don't have any heating as such in your house. All the heating's piped around and stuff like that. So they're aiming for the central ones, and it's a problem leading a normal life, let alone running a business.
Well, having in a previous life worked in the plastics industry in production, I know that if you get a power failure while you're running a injection mold, or even and the power's off for long enough, you're in for a couple of days of hard graft to sort of get that machine back up and running again. You get all that plastic out, and it ain't easy.
ResKit run quite a number of 3D printers, as you can imagine. So all their stuff's printed. Imagine a power cut in the middle of an extensive print.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All
Especially
those
got 4 or 5
wiped
of them
out.
going. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I think they've got more like 15. So yeah, it's potentially a big thing.
Oh, unbelievable.
Well, yeah,
But they're still carrying on. They're
Yeah.
still putting product out. You can still buy it. It's amazing. It really is.
is one? Have you? Do you know of Ukrainian scale car production? They do a lot of aftermarket car model type stuff.
Someone told me about them, but I've not looked them up.
Okay, I just wanted to know if that was on your list.
Well, send me the details because it will be tomorrow. Because I put a list of all the Ukrainian companies on the podcast notes so that anyone can go and find. And also in the front of the book, I want to put a list of companies because something they really need at the moment is for people to put money into their economy. No matter what you think of the rights or wrongs of it, it's a country that's economy is getting hammered because just surviving in this war is taking all of their production. All of their GDP.
Yep.
And it's going to take them years to get back on track. So my motto at the moment is, if you're buying models, buy Ukrainian.
Yeah, 100%.
There's enough good companies. You could get some great models. So you're not. It's not charity. You're getting great stuff in return. So.
Yeah. Well, I placed, what was it, about 4 months ago? I placed an order with Dora for the Vengeance. So I know the order's been processed, and that's as far as I've heard, but I'm patient. I'll wait.
Evgeny that runs Dora is on the front line. He's in the Ukrainian Armed Forces.
That's probably why I haven't heard anything.
No, he's got people back at the office that will be dealing with it. But it just goes to show, they're all involved.
Yeah, that's right.
In one way or another.
But I knew as soon as I placed that order, I was in no hurry. I was when it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, well, I've made a donation.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's the way to look at it. If it doesn't come, you've made a donation.
Yeah.
But I think that the people as such. Such proud people that they'd move heaven and earth to get your order out to you. If they
Definitely.
could. Yeah,
Definitely.
You will get it. I
Yeah.
ordered something from him and said, "I'll just keep the money. Don't send me the kit." And the kit turned up about a month later. So. The problem apparently is the post system, because it all goes to one of the big mail centres to leave Ukraine, but they're swamped sending out sort of the because they can't move anything out by sea. They're sending everything out by road and rail. The major industrial things. Yeah. So there's a big queue basically at the postal depot. So that's why it takes a bit longer, but. It's like 2 weeks, 2 months, sorry, at the most.
That's all right.
So
Should come. What did you order?
The Vengeance.
Yeah, I was halfway through building it. I need to get back on it once the book's done. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I had
Such an ugly thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know Sam Dwyer, who you know quite well too. He recently purchased one, and I was over at his place a couple of weeks ago and had a good look at it, and very nice looking kit.
This is the aircraft of vengeance.
Yeah, the Volt
Yeah,
Vengeance.
because stupidly Australian Air Force, because the Yanks didn't think much cop of it, so they passed it along to the Australian Air Force in World War II.
So they palmed it off on the Australians. Yeah,
and our pilots quite liked it. They thought it was quite a good aircraft, quite a good dive bomber.
Did quite well with it.
Yeah.
That always happens. It's always a case of we don't like this, but you guys might, and then we go, yeah, we do like it.
Well, look at the Aerocobra.
Yeah.
The Yanks weren't a fan of the Aerocobra. They handed it over to the Ruskies, and the Ruskies loved it.
Yeah, well, their standards
well, of
weren't
course,
very high.
we can't land this thing on carriers. How are we going to use it? The British are like,
Exactly.
chop the wings off and hold my beer.
So, mate,
We'll just fly it sideways, it'll be all right.
look, I know, and it's well known all the hard work and everything you're doing for other people in regards to the sort of work you're doing to help Ukraine and all that. What I'm really keen to hear is how are you doing and what are you doing at the moment?
Well, I'm building a model for the book, which might not end up going in the book because there might not be time to finish the book and finish that. So, and also I have a page count problem. I got too much material, not enough pages. So we'll have to see how that goes.
That's something you don't hear very often, is it?
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, you're thinking back to your high school days or something where you had to
waffle on,
do 1,000 words on this, and you finished it in the first 20.
Yeah.
How do I stretch this out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I used to do that. Just make the writing bigger. I've got to do 3 pages. Make the writing bigger. Other than that, I'm building a kit from Foresight Models, which is the 1/500. What's it called? This is a painter's pronounced Yayama, which is a Russo-Japanese War sort of auxiliary cruiser.
Right.
It's quite nice.
Very interesting.
Yeah, they make some really interesting kits.
What scale do you say? 1 to 500.
Yeah, it's Japanese, isn't it? It's a Japanese scale, isn't it? Nichimo used to make stuff in 1 to 500.
Right. Okay.
It's actually a really nice scale because it's big enough. Over 700, you can get more detail on it, but small enough that you can fit a lot on your shelf, which I think in Tokyo apartments is probably a big selling point.
Yes. Yeah, that's the 1/700 scale kits go so well in Japan.
Yeah. But I just wish these men, because being a constant scale builder myself, I just wish they'd pick one scale, land on it, and go, okay, that's what we're going to run with, instead of 500, 700, 1/720. Idiot scale that is
1 to 530. Yeah, but that was back in the 50s and 60s where they made the scale to fit the box.
They were box scales.
Fit the box. So we'll scale it to fit the box. And
besides, you're never going to please everyone. People are always going to have different space requirements.
Yeah, I know, but it just annoys me personally. I mean, we're in the 21st century now. Come on.
The only problem I have with 1 to 500 is there's not a lot of aftermarket.
No, there was
quite hard to find.
Yeah.
That'll be a struggle. So
luckily, Tom's Model Works do some photo etch rails and stuff in the scale, so at least you got the main stuff covered.
Oh, that's good.
So you're getting some downtime for yourselves, and are you getting some Chris Meddings time?
Not really, no. To be perfectly honest, business has been really bad this year. apart from the Ukraine books, it's been really bad. So I've been struggling just trying to put stuff out and fix the situation. So Brexit, I think, has really done a number on the book business in the UK.
Not just the book business. I mean, we're sitting over here watching your economy tank at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it didn't need to happen. I don't really want to get into politics. It's not that kind of podcast, but the worst of it is it didn't really need to happen. It was just stupidity and incompetence. If they'd just done things slightly differently, it wouldn't have happened. But that's the worst of it. It's not like it's big economic factors that led to it.
So you're
bloody politicians.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gee, sometimes when I do this show, I wish I had a different podcast so I could really dive deeper into it, but I don't want to go there. I'll leave it for other podcasts.
I leave that stuff to Facebook.
Yes.
Leave it to the keyboard warriors. So we'll leave that one alone and sort of move on. So business has been bad. So it's and apart from the obvious people sort of going and having a look at Inside the Armour to sort of see what you've got there, and you've got a fantastic range of stuff that people should be having a look at. But is there anything else that you're sort of looking at, sort of branching into or doing differently, or some new stuff on the horizon that perhaps to try and keep the wolves from the door?
Well, I think as well as Brexit, another problem with it has been this sort of cost of living crisis that everyone around the world's suffering with, really.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, same here.
So I've made a lot of my books ebooks so that previously it would cost something like £16 to £18 to ship a book to Australia, for instance.
Yep.
And
That's
now you can just get it
money.
instantly and pay no shipping. So as long as you don't want a paper copy, And so that's something I've done.
And that's something, I mean, because you've in the past sent us some wonderful stuff for us to have a look at. And, this package sort of rolls up the front door and I sort of have a look at. The first thing I look at is a postage, and I think, oh my God, how can he afford to send this to us?
No.
It's like, like £25 and send it across the other
It's
side
a
of
lot
the
of
world.
money.
With your listenership, it's worth it. You're a popular show. You're a big show.
Oh,
it makes sense.
So you're building a 1/500 scale ship. What's on your bench next, just to build for yourself, rather than building for a publication or building for your
Well, that is for a publication. I probably better not say which magazine, because whenever I say it'll happen, it doesn't, because I don't finish it or something. Then I look like an idiot. So it's probably maybe someday. But that's also for fun, because I'm friends with the guy that runs Foresight, and it's just I like building his models. He sends me his models. He's a really nice guy like that to build, and I love building them. So that is for fun for me, really. I'm also doing a Ukraine diorama, which is shamelessly political. But I don't know when I'll ever finish it, because there's 5 vehicles on it, and they're all wrecks. So there's a lot of work involved.
Oh, wow.
And it's what it's like. It's 99% scratch building for the interiors and stuff. So
and you just can't help yourself when it comes to scratch building, as we all know.
I love it. I keep needing to learn 3D, but I can't. It's like if I have the choice between spending 2 hours a day learning 3D or 2 hours a day at the bench, I'll go to the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hands on.
I should learn 3D, but it's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, that scares the crap out of me too.
It's just there's a curve to it, to get good, takes time. Anything worth doing takes time to learn, and I just don't know if I want to invest the time.
And you blow a lot of money too before you get good.
So is that to say that you'd never go and get a printer, or you're not thinking getting a 3D printer, or?
No. I'd rather pay other people to do 3D for me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe of doing some more ship kits in the future, but in future they'll all be 3D designed.
Cool.
Because frankly, hand mastering's dead.
Yeah.
It's a dead media, especially in ships.
And especially with the quality of stuff. I mean, Ian can talk to this. He's got some fantastic 3D printed ships in 1/350 scale that came from, what was the name of that company?
3D Wild.
3D Wild.
Yeah.
And, the detail you can get on it now is just astounding.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about how
And
you're going
it's-
to join the hull up. But apart
The
from
3
that,
pieces of the hull, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be easier than scratch building a hull, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
100%.
Pinning that together and making it good, it's going to be a lot easier. So I'm really keen on that 1-200 Japanese destroyer they've talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah, that looks... was
Is
it
it Shimakaze?
Yeah, the Shimakaze.
Yeah. It's a good looking ship.
I'm keen to get a 3D printer, but I'm not keen to do all the work that's required to print the part. And I know it's just push a button, but it's not simply push a button. You got to do a whole heap of other stuff.
You got to work out what angle it sits. You got to put all those supports on.
So my youngest son over in Western Australia's bought a 3D printer. I'm waiting to see how he goes. And there's a few other people I know who've got 3D printers. I'm waiting to see how they go before I sort of push. Because, I mean, for me, I'd be quite happy just to buy the files and just load them up and push the button and go. That for me, that's fantastic.
And that's the way it'll go in the future.
Yeah, no, it's never going to be that way because you're dealing with a whole bunch of goop.
Yeah.
And you got to clean the goop.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people talk about the fails and the goop, I'm thinking it's not for me. I want to do that.
And that's the easiest part. Like,
resin,
frankly, the designing is the worst part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might go.
Actually, it's funny you should say about printing off stuff you buy, though, because I forgot to mention. Quite a few people in the book, including Fanch Lubin, Alex Clark, the 172nd Wizard, and a couple of other guys, have done designed 3D parts for their kits in the book. All of the STLs are going to be for sale as well to raise money for Ukraine, which I haven't announced yet. So let's announce that here. So if you're building the kit, you'll be able to buy the STLs they used in the book, and all the money will go to the charity.
I have just seen an amazing idea just sort of popped into my head. So you produce a magazine in the future, and the 3D parts that are used in the actual model, you've got call-outs, so you can go and sort of purchase those files.
I'd be surprised if someone's not already thinking about it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Even down to if you in a modelling magazine, if you're not only the aftermarket stuff, but even the model itself, if it was a 3D print, and you could sort of, what a great way of showcasing 3D printing. Huh.
Going back to what Julian was saying, though, if you're going to do that and just have it so people could just print it off at home, it would need to have all the supports and everything on it.
Yeah.
It would basically need to be exactly print ready. And a lot of files people buy aren't, are they? They need to do work to orient them for their printer and stuff like that.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know why they don't, because, I mean, that's honestly the easiest part if you're a designer, right? Like, you just import it into the software that adds the supports and just throw the supports on, right? But
you have to choose the orientation and stuff as well, don't you? And someone casual at home who just wants to print out isn't going to know about that stuff.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a good friend of ours, Kevin Footer, and he's been on his Facebook page showing all the trials and tribulations he's been having with 3D printing.
Yeah, you see like lots of everyone who's into 3D printing will just, they love doing the thing where they take a photo of their bin and it's just filled with failed prints. It's like, I'm glad you're doing that and not me.
I'm terrible. I've got a huge plastic tub from IKEA somewhere of slightly iffy castings from when I ran Inside the Armour. And I should just throw them away, but I'm terrible. If I was 3D printing, I'd have tubs and tubs of prints going. Well, I might be able to use half of that print in the future, so I'll keep hold of that just in case. I'm awful for that.
I don't even keep the remaining parts from my model kits. I throw all that in the bin.
Oh yeah, I used to have a spares bin, and now it's just in the bin.
Yeah. Because you run out of room in no time.
Yeah.
Well, pretty soon you work out you never use them. So
that's right. You years ago, you used to go, I might be able to use that for a future project. And then it's been sitting in the basket for 25 years. It's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
In the bin, in the recycling.
Well, and it also helps in it because I had the same thing, and I'm looking through the moustache and I'm going, hang on, I've built those ones and those ones and those ones. And I'd realised I put the empty boxes back in there. So, like you guys, I pulled them all.
Put the empty boxes back in.
I did.
Did you put them back on the shelf?
I did. Well,
that's the most satisfying part for me at the end of a project.
Chuck it away.
Is putting the bin putting the box in the recycling.
Except the instructions, which you're going to follow away.
Always keep those instructions. Yeah.
Oh God, though, why bother? It all goes in recycling.
No. For us, if we're getting into a model competition here in Australia, having the instructions is worth points when you're entering the model in.
But just print them off Hobby Search or something.
Yeah, I have done that. But sometimes you worry if it's not there for certain kits.
Yeah.
IPMS here, if you're in the out-of-the-box category, you need to have the instructions with it. Yes. But other than that, they don't bother.
Speaking of model shows and stuff, when's your next one you're heading off to?
I'm going to Telford.
Whoa!
I know, which is funny because I always go, "I hate Telford, it's rubbish." But it's really, I'm going to wind so many people up with this. But when people go on about it's the greatest model show, I think you don't go to a lot of model shows because there's much better model shows out there. But it is big, and if you want to go, and if you've got a lot of friends going, it's worth it. But Ilya, who is one of the guys who works with Armory models in Ukraine, but actually lives in the UK. Is going to set up a stall for Armory and a couple of the other Ukrainian manufacturers. So I'm going along to meet him and help him out a little bit with that stand. Is basically the reason I'm going. So.
But Telford's only over 2 days, isn't it? Just a weekend.
Yeah, and it's only an hour and a half from me, but still it's like that.
But I struggle to see, which is sort of, the UK's premier sort of show, if I dare say that, why they only do it over 2 days.
Oh, yeah, definitely is, yeah.
Why don't they, stretch it over 4 days? Friday, or bump in Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Are you guys adverse to taking time off from work, or?
By Sunday afternoon, it's empty anyway. Why?
Is it really?
Most people see it in a day, that's it,
Wow.
Maybe because there's no competition type thing to it, right?
No, there is a competition segment to it.
There is a competition, yeah, but they're not overly keen on it. It's kind of hidden away in a room upstairs. It's quite big, though. There's about 1,700 models in the competition usually. So.
Well, that's a good amount
It's
anyway.
a decent size.
Yeah.
But if you take the competition factor out of ours, there wouldn't be much left, right?
Oh, no.
Oh,
You're
no,
right,
no.
Time-wise,
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Telford is a jolly for the clubs. It's an opportunity for all the members and all the clubs to get together and see each other and stuff
And special
like that.
interest groups and all that as well, which is a big thing in the UK.
It sounds like maybe in the past I've been a bit negative, but why shouldn't people want to meet up with their friends and the other clubs and hang out? Of course, it's the society. It's their big event once a year, their big sort of festival of modelling. So that's what it is, yeah. I mean, special interest groups don't interest me because just because I like variety. And when you go and see a table and it's like 100 Spitfires, it's like, oh look, 100 Spitfires. A couple of them are interesting. The Space Sig is quite good. The real space one, that's pretty interesting.
Oh yes, I'm so getting down that rabbit hole with real space at the moment. It's just
so much so you're buying Mac 2 kits, Dave.
I bought 3 Mac 2 kits the other day.
There it is. There's the laugh that I wanted to hear.
Well, the only reason, because you can't get the early Soyuz rocket in, nobody else produces it unless you go look for a 3D printer. And because I'm a constant scale builder, all my rockets are going to be in 1/72nd scale, because that's the only way to that's the only real true scale to sort of show it off in. And Mac 2 are the only one to do a 72nd scale, so.
But they're crap.
Oh, look, I had a look in one of the boxes and I thought.
So did I. It looked crap.
I thought, no,
What's the DIY shop called in Australia? Is it Bunnings?
Yeah, Bunnings.
Yeah. Just go down there and buy a piece of PVC pipe, and you'll probably have a better start.
Exactly.
Oh, you never know. I might have to do that. Go and get some PVC pipe to help me out with it.
Like some of the.
At least you know it'll be straight.
Some of the.
You should have the diameters right, and it's round.
And there's not like nozzles, like thruster nozzles filled up with plastic.
Oh yeah, I can work around that. That's all right.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm like,
I can see tears in the future.
out of the 3 boxes, I reckon I'll get 2 good kits out of it.
You have thrown away better kits than those.
Yes, yes. I'll be right.
And you haven't started putting.
They're the only ones
remember,
that do.
With kits like that, they always look better until you start building them, and then you're like, oh, none of these things fit together.
I'll adapt and overcome. I'm one-eyed about this. So.
Right. Okay. Right now, Julian, Ian, if he pops up on Facebook going, this bloody kit anytime in the future, don't let him. Because
No.
we tried to tell him.
This is going worldwide, so everyone's going to know.
But hang on, I've purchased the kit, so not only have I purchased the rights to make the kit, I've purchased the rights to bitch and moan about it as I build it.
I'll be honest, I love moaning about it. I was like, why are you doing it then? It's like, I like the misery.
That's it. I like banging my head against
That's
the
a
wall.
very British sort of sentiment, though, isn't it? Like having a good moan
It
about
makes me feel
something.
like a real man.
You need to be stoic about something, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
Well, we're whinging poms, you know.
that's we laugh, but that's actually like a thing. Like I know a lot of quite a few 70-second scale modelers who build in that scale and build crappy models in that scale specifically because they want to be able to moan about something.
It's like that weird guy that turned up saying, "Oh, I don't like Tamiya because they're too easy."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
kind of
Yeah. It's a weird unit, that one. Very strange unit.
Well,
Well,
we're
it
not going to
generates
name
clicks,
names
isn't it?
because there's laws in Australia that could affect what we say. So
Yeah.
we'll just leave that one alone and put it on the table.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people in that camp, you know, and it's like, okay, you get something out of complaining about these kits that you're willing to put money down for, and these are the same people who would they don't like the idea. Like these are the people who get you know, think I'm weird when I say someone should take a hammer to those molds so they can be taken out of circulation and never made again. You know, like someone needs
no future modeler has to suffer.
That's
Yes.
right. You're doing.
You're doing society a favour.
Yeah, it's just like you've destroyed the necromancer in the graveyard who's been resurrecting these things, you know, and plaguing the township.
It's like you're putting it out of our misery.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
But then you get companies that go out and buy all these. And they make money out of it. Was it Atlantis models in
Yeah,
America? They
yeah.
buy
That
all the,
nostalgia thing. I don't
Yeah.
get it. I really.
it's like, well,
Well,
Really?
I felt this way about Valinden stuff, and people were like, "Oh, look at all those molds got thrown out." Oh, it's like there are better stuff than that now, man. Come
well,
on.
nowadays there is, yeah. But back in the day, that was all pretty cutting edge.
Yes, but that day has passed.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you get people going, well, back in my day, we had to convert the Airfix Wombat into a paraglider or something. And it's like, yeah, and back in my granddad's day, you had to whittle it out of wood. It doesn't mean it's good.
That's right. Yeah.
And his granddad, well, they actually had to lap it out of flint.
Well, yeah, that was whalebone or something like that. Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to upset so many people with this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we always do.
One thing I found, modelers love being upset about things other modelers say.
Oh, yeah. It's like a badge of honour.
Yeah, well,
It's interesting because
honor and everything.
I think when we first started this podcast out, it was always going to be like a G-rated one, and I think we've pretty much stuck to that all the way through. Although for those who know me personally, I sort of swear like a trooper in real life. It's the other fantastic podcast show that's available, and if anybody wants to look for it, just simply go to scalemodelpodcast.com. You can find the full range of podcasts there. Is the Scale Model Union, which has yourself, Chris.
The show you must listen to all the time because you've got the name wildly wrong.
Yeah. Sprue Cutters Union, you goober.
What did I say?
I don't know what you said, but it definitely
Cutters
wasn't the
Union
Sprue
or some
Cutters
shit.
Union.
What did I say?
Scale Modelers Union.
I thought I said Sprue Cutters.
No, you definitely didn't, dude.
In the interest of numbers,
One thing saying you're
look-
dyslexic.
Oh wow! look at that topic change. You pivoted so fast there.
So in the interest of keeping the numbers of my show up, please go and look for Scale Modelers Union.
I'll tell you what, if you're looking for G-rated shows, stick to Scale Modelers. We're a sweary bunch, we really are.
Sprue Cutters Union. So you got yourself, you've got Tracy,
And Will.
Will, who's also a great friend of the show as well.
I think he's been on this podcast more than you have, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, hang on. You and Will are having this little sort of competition as to how many
He's
times.
going to be so annoyed with me.
I still think he's beaten you by one show, though. I'll have to go back and check the record.
Yeah,
so
that's
still
fine
one
with
up.
me.
Yeah.
He's the big dog, that's fine.
So, how's that show going? Going really well.
Yeah, that's going really great. Yeah. I mean, I know none of the shows talk about listener numbers, but we had a number in mind that we thought would make it worth doing. Because, I mean, it's all very well putting your voice out there on on the podcast airways or whatever it is. But if no one's listening, then you probably haven't got much worth properly saying. So we had a number, and we far exceeded that number. So I mean, we don't get paid per listen or anything like that, so the numbers don't really matter. But a lot of people seem to like it, and that's great.
That's great to listen to.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm not on the latest episode, so it's even better.
Oh no! So it's just Will and Tracy.
Yeah, I was busy doing the book. Still am, but they.
Well, that's going to make Will even more pissed
Scott.
that you're on this one than you weren't on your own one.
Well, I don't have to edit this. That's why. I mean, I would have done the other one if one of them would edit it, but they both said when we started, I don't want to edit it. So it's like, all right, then that's me. And editing 4 hours of us goofing off into 3 hours of us goofing off is quite a hard job.
Seriously, that long? 4 hours of waffle down the two?
Well, with an interview, usually it's quite often 4. It's rare that our usual running time is around 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
My favourite historical podcast is Supernova in the East by Dan Carlin, which is just amazing about the Pacific. I remember listening to it thinking, how does he do 5-hour shows?
I know.
And now I'm thinking, why don't you do one a week?
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, Dan Carlin's one of my favourite ones, which I listen to, and
it's really
some of his early stuff, used to go on, and it if you listen to it, it doesn't even take a break. He sort of can go on for nearly 2 hours straight without sort of drawing a breath. And you go, how did you do that?
I'm not sure many people would notice it, but because you do this, you can hear it when people have stopped.
Yeah,
there's sort of a cadence change in the voice because they've gone out. There's a different day or something. You can tell when there's an edit, and you can tell there's no edits. It's just, more than a second or two probably.
And interestingly, Dan Carlin is a wargaming guy as well.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to play him because he seems to know his onions.
Well, I sort of briefly toyed with the idea of sort of getting him on the show, and I thought, no, I'll have a 6-hour show that I'm going to try and get out then.
Imagine him telling you how he paints little 153rd Shermans, whatever they are.
153rd.
What's the gaming scale? 140.
I think there's like 176, isn't there?
No, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bigger one. Rubicon models do it though. That's a gaming scale, isn't it? That's 150 something.
What bolt action? Isn't bolt action is a weird scale?
Yeah, it's like 28mm. It works out at 156 or something.
Yeah, something silly like that.
Obscure number.
I don't know. Really weird.
I was looking at those Rubicon models in the model shop the other day. They're pretty nice, actually.
If you like 28mm.
Yeah, if you're not a constant scale nerd.
Well said.
So, we were talking about you going to a show, and you said you're going to Telford.
Telford.
Any other shows in the pipeline after that?
At the moment, just Scale Model Challenge in October 2023, but probably something will come up before. I might go to
That's the one in Holland, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one that you keep getting confused with World Model Expo.
Yeah,
because they hosted. They hosted.
Well, that's the one I want to go to.
So
that's next year, is it?
Yeah, and then the next World Model Expo is actually in Versailles in 2024 or 25.
Oh, really?
Definitely going to that one because imagine that. Go there for a few days and then pop off to Paris for a few days as well and see the sights. It'd be great.
Well, Versailles isn't very far from Paris, so
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, geez,
that's a good way to con the missus into going.
Well, it is actually because Michelle loves Paris. In fact, we're heading over there in January next year.
Well, that's how you sell it. You say, Michelle, I'm taking you to Paris. So amazing. And you go, model show.
Oh, look, there's a model show. Excuse me. Drop her at a cafe with a glass of wine, and I'll just head off for about 8 hours.
It is a beautiful city, though.
Yeah, but I definitely want to go to Scale Model Challenge, and if that's next year,
because you're undecided as to whether you're going to Texas yet.
Yeah, well, I haven't. Look, I said I wanted to go, but if Scale Model Challenge is on next year, well, I'll probably end up going there.
Is Scale Model Challenge every second year? Is it, Chris?
No, it's every year usually, but they skipped it this year because they would do World Model Expo. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got to decide next year whether I go to Texas or to Asia because I'm thinking maybe of going to a show in Japan or a show in Korea, and I can't do 2 long haul trips. So.
No.
I don't know of any shows in Korea.
Oh, there's a
What
big
are they?
one. There's a big one every year.
There's I can't remember what it's called, Hobby Square, Hobby Zone, something like that. It's run by the guys that run MMK website. You know, Sangjung. I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's Sangjung Kim. He's a bit of a godfather in Korea of all the.
A bit of a godfather in Korea.
market.
My God, in regards, he's their shipbuilder. Okay, so we've had the Spanish school, but when it comes to ship modelling, there's the Korean school. And
figures too, the Korean figure
yeah.
models.
Oh, the figures are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Manchin Kim
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to learn anything about what a 1/350 scale ship should look like, or indeed any scale, look at what the Koreans and their seascapes. Oh my giddy aunts! I can't get over how they do these. It looks like you can put your finger in it and it would come out dripping in water. It's that realistic.
Yeah, there's a guy whose name, I'm trying to remember what his name is, Dr. Lee, Young Lee, I think maybe. And he does those ones with like the submarines where they're being hit underwater by a torpedo.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's the big burst of compressed sort of air. or
He's
whatever it is.
almost like an engineer on using resin.
Yeah. Well, I think he's an engineer or something in real life.
Is he?
Oh.
Oh well.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. So, but just the way he uses, and that's not easy, is it, with that amount of resin because of the heat you get off it and stuff like that.
Yep, and keeping all the bubbles out of it. In fact, putting the bubbles in where you want the bubbles and not having the bubbles where you don't want the bubbles. Yeah.
He's really good at torpedo tracks as well.
Yeah, I think the hobby should ban engineers and dentists from building anything in competitions because it's just not fair.
Dentists. It's always a dentist.
Well, they're so wound
Wasn't
up,
that
that's the only
guy
way
that-
they can let go by building a model.
Was it Dr. Park, a guy that lived in Hawaii and made scratchbuilt a Corsair out of metal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
He's done a few. He's done a P40 as well, I think, a P40B. And
I'm not sure what scale they are, but I don't think they're that big. I think maybe 32nd or 24th. I don't think they're like 1/12, like that guy in the UK that does them.
So I said we're going to ban dentists and engineers from participating in the hobby because they're just setting the bar way too high for us.
Yeah, you watch Paul Budzik videos and he's like, oh yeah, this thing I just made a tool to do that one thing out of like a whole. I got a bunch of these dental tools lying around. I just decided to grind that down and turn it into a tool.
It's like, I felt this wasn't quite good enough, so I made a new one by making a tool to make a tool
You know what?
to
It's
make
the
a new
modeling
one.
version of those videos you see where they're like fix-it channels, you know, and they'll go, oh, don't worry, just build. It's easy to build one of these things. All you need is a lathe and you know,
40 years of experience, you know.
yes.
yeah, like a full machine shop.
What is it? They call it ASMR.
Yeah,
That
or the ones where they're like,
his
oh,
nice
you know,
voice.
I'll build some furniture, and it only cost me like I built it out of a pallet, but you know, I've got like this, you know, I got band saws.
Yeah, I've got a $200,000 worth of tools.
Exactly, it's ridiculous.
It's like have you seen those chairs they make by like bending wood as it grows?
Oh yeah,
And it's like, yeah, lovely, but I don't have 40 years to wait for it.
Yeah, by the time it's matured, your eyesight's gone.
I bet they're trying to build a model like Spitfire out of a growing tree. You'd be there for donkey's years trying to get it.
Definitely.
like this type of YouTube videos, it's getting pretty popular because people have realized that, you know, it would never, like, if they made it themselves just to sell, like, no one would be willing to pay that kind of money for it. But if I make a YouTube video out of it, people will watch it and I'll get my money's worth.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day of someone making cosplay, like a cosplay gun, right? So it was like from a video game. And the lengths that they went to, they basically CAD designed the entire gun, 3D printed it on resin printers, and then they're doing things like wrapping it in like this clear transparent thing that makes it look like it's made out of carbon fiber.
Oh, I saw that video. Yes, I watched that. They did the wet transfer.
Yeah, it's
method
one of those
where you
things where
dip
it
it in
popped
the
up on
water.
Facebook
Yeah,
and I couldn't
yeah,
stop myself
yeah.
from watching it.
Although YouTubers aren't getting paid anywhere near what they used to now. They've really cracked down on that now.
Nah,
Not cracked down, they've changed it.
Yeah, of course, it's corporate.
Yeah, sucks.
Well, it's supply and demand as well. I mean, there's far more people that want to do it. And when there's a shortage of people and you need content, you pay more. And when there's an abundance of content and you don't need to get them, you pay less. So
Exactly.
so it is. But unfortunately, a lot of videos now, even with a lot of modeling videos, they don't actually show you that much. It's just for people to sit and watch someone else do it. And there's not, there's kind of a whole strain of videos which is just watching the joy of watching someone else do it, rather than watching it to learn how you can do it and then going and doing it yourself.
Yeah, and that's where you've got to be not really careful, but you really know. I mean, like Mike Rinaldi's watching his stuff. He actually shows you how he does it, and Mike, he just come out of a bad patch as well. We had some issues with some of his stuff. We should get him on the show, have a chat to him. Actually, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy.
But that's. Yeah, you're right. There's stuff to watch just for the pure pleasure of watching it, and there's stuff to watch so you can learn and be taught how to do something.
And because people's attention spans are getting shorter, so everything's becoming time lapse.
Yeah.
But see, I don't. Well, again, Mike Rinaldi. I mean, some of his shows go for about an hour or so, hour and a half sometimes.
Like 4 hours, I think.
4 hours. That's a long stretch.
It's a long stretch to sit there, but as people sit there and they actually do it along with him at the same time.
I enjoy watching Martin Kovacs. Night Shift.
Yep.
20 minutes, 25 minutes, and it's great. Taught me a lot of skills.
Apparently, that's what the YouTube algorithm specifies, that 20 minutes is the maximum length for a video.
Oh, really?
Because they know the abandon rates and everything. They know that half the people won't even make it to the end of 20 minutes, and virtually no one makes it past 20 minutes on a video.
Oh, that's
Usually I'll watch a video and it's like, once I find the bit I want, skip to the bit I want.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's fine.
You see the older YouTube videos where it's got the little graph at the bottom where you can see that where everyone's clicked, and you're like, oh, well, there's the interesting part. I'll just click straight to it.
Yeah. Well, how many videos have 10 minutes? It's like, quite often you'll watch a video and it's maybe a review of a kit and they'll give you 20 minutes history of the vehicle, and it's like, oh, no, just show me the damn sprues.
Yeah.
Or like, giant radio-controlled jet plane crashes, and the first 20 minutes of it just sort of flying around and around and around. You sort of go skip right to the back, and you can watch it explode a big ball of flame.
While you're on that topic of show me the kit, I've got a gripe with those kind of videos, because they are the most brain-dead videos I've ever seen. The whole, it's got no flash, and look at this detail. Well, it's like, well, the detail's supposed to be there. That's part of the shape of the model, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to see flash on a modern kit. And the reason you're reviewing it is because it's modern. You're not reviewing some old thing from, like, Itali's 90s era.
I used to have a problem sometimes writing reviews for Sam, because sometimes when a kit wasn't great, there's only so much lipstick you can smear on a pig.
That's right.
And you do find yourself there saying things like, comes in a really stout box. All the parts are sealed in bags. It's like, I've got to get it up to 100 words.
The cellophane wrapping is the highest quality I've seen in the model kit for a long time.
Actually, can we just say that while I'm here? Airfix, why'd you keep putting all the sprues in one bag?
Yeah.
When it's one thing, you have to get the model shop to let you open the box because they tape them shut. And once you have opened it, you think, right, I'll have a look at the parts. And they always seem to do it with the fuselage, right? The inside of the fuselage facing out of the bag and the outside facing in. So it's like you can't see the surface detail.
Yeah.
And it's like, right. Just put them in separate bags.
And the worst thing about that is there's a good chance that other parts, the other sprues, are going to be rubbing up against the outside detail and putting scratches and dings in it.
Especially the clear sprue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's and then Mini Art will often do the one bag thing as well, and it's a bit weird when you open, and it's a chockers bag. It's absolutely
like
filled to the brim, and you can pick it up like a brick. Like you open up the box and it's just like one entire brick of plastic.
It barely needs the box, really. It's just a solid lump.
Yeah, it's like when when your dad packs the back of the car, when you go on a trip, and he packs it in ever so perfectly, right, that everything doesn't move. It's like you don't need.
You just imagine the factory with the tannoy going da 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 da.
The Tetris.
Oh, jeez.
I've seen. I once ages ago, I watched some video, and the guy, he did an unboxing video, and he was really fixated on how, I think it was Tamiya they closed their bags with staples. And
Yes.
And he goes, every time he had to open a new bag, he's like, oh, these damn staples. He was really getting really worked up about it.
Why? They come off really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You just tear them open, right? You can tear. That's the best thing. You can tear them open with your hands because the staples do all the tearing work for you.
I always found the worst kits.
I know this.
The
This
worst
is going to
kits.
sound really anal, but I love the high quality thick bags Tamiya put the stuff in as well. Though they're proper, thick cello bags. None of that thin crap you get with other manufacturers. High stout plastic bag.
Yeah. But then you get the other.
Sorry, Ian.
Then you get the other part like dragon kits, and we all know you buy like a dragon armor kit and you open the box and you take everything out of the bags and then you try and put it back in the box.
No, that's
It never
every
fits.
kid.
Yeah.
That's every kid these days.
You can never get it. I don't know how they managed to get it in there in the first place.
Not the Dragon Saladin. When you pick up that box, you think, is there a kit in this? You open it and it's 75% Dragonair.
Oh, really?
High quality Dragonair.
Wow.
Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness.
So that's part of the master plan of China, is it? Because they're importing air from cleaner parts of the world and then exporting their bad air.
It's got the COVID in it. It's got the COVID in it.
No, not even
guys out
COVID.
there.
There was this thing where you could buy fresh air in a container in China.
Yeah, probably because of all the smog.
Yeah, it was just just a weird curiosity thing that someone decided to sell it and someone decided to buy it.
If people will buy it, you should sell it. It's funny, actually. I was just thinking, I used to have loads of Dragon kits, and looking around my room now, I don't have any.
So you built them
You know
or
that-
sold them?
I built them or sold them.
Well, Dragon
they kind
haven't
of-
made anything new in a long time. There's no reason
Exactly.
to keep making them if you've made them once.
I mean, if I wanted to build a Panther for a Panther or a Tiger, I'd probably still buy a Dragon kit. I know the rifle models and the Meng and everything is supposed to be really good kits, but the Dragon kits of those were excellent. They were really good. But I don't want to build any of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't, that's it with Dragon, you're out of luck.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
It's Dragon, and it was part of that whole '90s era of modeling where all the German subjects were popular, all the German armor, all the German aircraft, and that sort of thing's gone away now. People are bored of it.
Yeah.
On to newer things. Newer
It's funny, I
subjects.
never thought modern armor would be popular, but it's really picked up the last few years. You must be happy, Dave.
I am. I love modern arm. In fact, I'm waiting for an order of a HIMARS to come in, not because of Ukraine, but because Australia's bought some as well. So,
Really?
yeah, we've.
Man, everyone's going to be buying
You're
those.
going to shoot with them, New Zealand.
No,
New South Wales.
we're preparing for the second Emu War.
No. No, see, Melbourne's going to go to war with Sydney. That's what's going to happen.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.
It's going to be East versus West.
Well, West
Look at
Australia
Canberra.
constantly threatens to sort of secede from Australia, so you never know.
It wouldn't be too much of a loss.
Would you notice?
Well, that's where the first Emu War occurred in Western Australia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which unfortunately
Bloody emus.
Which we lost.
We lost.
We lost. We had a war against emus back in 19.
Oh, I've seen
20s.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1920s.
Yeah, and we lost.
How they expended something like 5,000 rounds of ammunition
Oh, and the
didn't
rest.
hit one, wasn't
Probably
it?
about yeah.
Yeah.
They had Vickers machine guns there and nothing. So we lost.
Bloody emus.
Japan's also testing the HIMARS. So there might be a Japanese one with a nice red circle on the side of it. No,
I
because
do like modern Japanese armour, but weathering, there's not really any opportunity for it because they don't go anywhere.
Well, it's not that they're so clean. I mean, this people struggle to understand this, and we had some Japanese ships that came into Melbourne, and I'm thinking back in the 90s, and I went down to see them. And you're allowed to, I managed to get on board because I was with a ship modelling society or something, so we got special permission to go on board. Anyway, we look around, and they are absolutely spotless, their ships. There's not, if you find rust in there, I will pay you $1,000 if you find any rust in any of those ships, the way they were presented. Even down to with the helicopters in the back, which is the navalised Seahawk. It was a Seahawk they had there.
Yeah.
And of course, the Japanese paint there is all in white, which is again. But even looking at the doors, because I've been in and out of helicopters when I was in the army, so you know where to look for chips. Not a chip anywhere on it. It was even more pristine than when it came out of the factory. And
Yeah, because they all wear those white cotton gloves.
well, but I know people sort of bang on about not having weathered stuff, but you've got to look at what you're actually seeing and what you're replicating
But, I mean,
as to whether.
I think the Japanese stuff might be the exception to the rule, right?
Yeah. I took a trip round Yokosuka Harbour when I was last there, and it's the big anchorage for the US Pacific Fleet as well as for the Japanese fleet. It's where they built the Yamato, and that's why the US Navy base is there, because it's the biggest dry dock in Japan. And I think it's the biggest one in the Pacific. It's huge. And that's why they put the base there, so they have the big dry dock. And all the US ships looked beat to hell. There was rust streaks and all sorts on them. And all the Japanese ships were immaculate.
But the American navies follow much of Western navies now, where the crews aren't allowed to do sort of the old rust clearing parties. That's all contracted out now, and it's a case of when the ships.
Well, also, I don't know if the American ships had just come back. They might have been out for a couple of months at sea. So,
and they get used pretty heavy. The US Pacific Fleet.
Yeah.
They're always getting out and around. Yeah.
Keeping an eye on China.
Well,
politics again. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. So I'll steer away from that by just simply saying we're coming up for perhaps 1 a.m. over in the UK, and I've got to say the three of us really appreciate that you sat up for past midnight.
Definitely.
You look much better after midnight.
I look like crap all the time. What are you saying?
And our thanks for you sort of sitting up. We really, really do appreciate it. Talk about where people can look, perhaps get models for Ukraine books, and also Inside the Armour. Talk about that particular little company, where people can go to find that.
We get everything from InsideTheArmour.com.
There you go.
Also, though, my books are distributed by Bookworld. So if you're in Europe, USA, Canada, you can get them from various distributors, particularly in America. Stevens International buy my books, and they distribute them throughout the US. So you just go in your local model shop and ask, and if they don't know where to get it, I'll tell them to call Stevens
B&A
or Bookworld or someone like that.
B&A in Australia, they stock your books.
Yep. Yeah, they stock my stuff. So, ask them and they'll get it in. The Ukraine one, however, you pretty much have to buy direct because there's no profit in it. I can't give them a trade discount on the book. So, of course, someone like Stevens or BNA, they don't really want to pay a couple £100 to ship some books over that they won't make, that they'll lose the shipping on. So that's fair enough. But just to go to InsideTheArmour.com for that one.
And due out hopefully when, Chris?
Well, it's going to print this week so that it'll be ready in time for Telford, but usually it takes about 3 weeks from when I submit it to when I get it. So that's what, first week of November. And
you're accepting pre-orders?
Yes, at InsideTheArmour.com.
There you go.
Also, a benefactor who doesn't want to be named has paid so that everyone will also get a colour photo etched little bookmark free with the book.
Oh, wonderful.
Very cool.
Wonderful.
Extras and goodies in there for you.
Excellent.
Some extra swag, as they say.
Yep.
Only printing 1,000, so buy it while you can.
No worries.
Absolutely. And if the last one is absolutely wonderful, and you pumped that out in record time, and I know some of the names of the models are contributing to this one, so it's going to be one of those ones which you definitely need to have on your shelf.
I think a lot of people might have heard of Calvin Tan, Vance Lubin, Jean-Bernard Andre. There's some really phenomenal modelers in this one for sure. And thank you all to those guys for doing it.
And one of our local lads,
Sam Dwyer.
Mr. Sam Dwyer. Yeah. Sam got his rusty ball out for us.
Yes. Yes, he'll be the first to admit he's got a rusty ball.
I do like a good putt. Or a bad putt at a push.
All right, mate, we're going to let you go. That's fine.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, more than happy, and you're welcome to come along anytime.
Yep.
I know that you're trying to get more runs on the board than our American friend. We won't mention his name.
I just hope next year we can meet up somewhere. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Or maybe I'll have to come to Australia.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Either that, let me think. So around the world next year, Ian and I are going to New Zealand next year. We promised the guys we'd head over there. We've also got South Australia we need to get to next year. No, that's not around the world, but it's an 9-hour drive. Ian's thinking of either the US or Europe, aren't you? Not sure.
Yeah,
yet?
not too sure yet.
And I think Julian's thinking about Asia next year. So,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
So we're scattering to the four winds next year. And then the year
Well,
after,
that's good. You can bring back reports from all over, can't you?
Yeah.
well, I think that's the idea. And then the year after that, I've maybe got Wisconsin on my radar. So in 2024. So we'll see how that pans out.
Exciting stuff.
Indeed. Mate, thanks very much for being on the
Right.
show. You go to bed and have
Take
a good
care.
sleep. Maybe have a whiskey before you go to bed or something. Or
Quick soju, yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Just swig out of the bottle.
All right.
Mate, thanks very
Take
much.
care, boys. See you
See you,
later.
buddy.
Right, bye. Well, as usual, that was fantastic to hear from our good mate Chris.
Always.
Always a fun guy to listen to and have a chat with. And geez, he's really burning the candle at both ends, is he not?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that pretty much takes us to the end of the show, which is going to be a huge show.
A bit over 2 hours.
Just fair warning to all of our listeners, with work for me, I don't know what I'm doing and where I'm going to be from week to week. So episode 150, we're not too sure when that's going to get out, or indeed if we're going to make our sort of fortnightly promise to get it out. We'll try as hard as we can. And I'll keep everybody updated via Facebook as well.
Yeah.
So
We should do something special for 150th anyway.
let's wait for
It's-
200.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
150. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like 150 years. I mean,
Yeah. Feels like it sometimes.
Well, in fact, it's coming up for our 7th year next year.
Yeah,
That's pretty darn good.
that's very good.
holy crap, that's a lot of time.
Mm.
I didn't realise I've been modelling that long
Yeah,
and a bit longer.
a very long time.
Didn't realise you've been podcasting for that long, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was modelling for a few years before we started this. It's a lot of time. I'm really bad at tracking the passage of time, so for me, like, I can't figure out if it was 4 years ago or 7 years ago.
I track the passage of time by how many teeth are falling out and how many creaks and groans I got when I get up out of the chair.
How hard it is to get out of bed. With me, it's how much harder it is to get out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back. Fingers crossed in a fortnight. Otherwise, as I said, I'll try and let you guys know and keep you informed. Ian and I are due to head up to Canberra in early November.
Yep.
We go up there for the show, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Scale ACT.
Yep. And
Hope to catch up with a few listeners up there.
well, Sam's going to be up there, so he'll be roped in to give us a hand
Yep.
in lieu of Julian not being with us.
Yep.
But it's going to be an early start, man. We're going to be up at like 4 a.m.
I know.
on the road at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah, well, we got the special viewing at Traylor
Yeah, we do.
to get there in time for that. Get to look at all the exhibits the public can't.
It's making me moist just thinking about that.
Okay.
All right,
On that
guys. That note, thanks very much for listening. Don't
for me to
forget, there's other great model podcasts out there to listen to. Just go to scalemodelpodcasts.com and there's a whole list of all the other fantastic shows that are available, as well as some interesting blogs as well. So don't forget to check them out and please support them as well. Don't forget also, if you know somebody within your club who doesn't yet listen to podcasts or doesn't know how to, why don't you show them?
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be very appreciative.
Look, it's nothing better than kicking back and on a weekend, doing some modelling and listening to a podcast in the background.
Or indeed, if you've got a long drive to work each day,
Yeah,
sit down and listen to a podcast.
that's it.
All right, guys. We'll be back whenever we can be back. In the meantime,
Bye.